What is up, YouTube gang? It's your boy FridayRandommedia, and I'm back with another video yet again. Specifically, another video for one of my favorite franchises of all time. One of the longest running franchises on screen of all time, The Evil Dead. And this is in light of the new movie that just came out. I just seen it a few days ago, so I want to get these thoughts and opinions off my chest for Evil Dead Rise. And first, I kind of want to go into the movie reception, because I've seen so many people displeased with this movie. So many people saying they're disappointed. And I don't understand why completely. It could be for a few different reasons, and I have some theories on that. So, me personally, I think it was a fantastic movie. I think it is great as a requel or a reboot or a standalone. But I also think it fits perfectly into the tone and the mood of the original Evil Dead series. The original callbacks and all that. One thing I could see is, or one thing that I have seen, is maybe it's in the older fan base who was not really pleased with the amount of blood and gore and whatnot in this movie. They said they wanted more blood and gore. Meanwhile, I think from the newer generation, I see more people saying, oh, it had too much blood and gore, too much violence. There wasn't really any substance in this movie. And if that's all you saw, I'm afraid that you were paying too much attention to the blood and the guts, because there is a lot of substance in this movie. I'm going to go off on a little tangent here. None of this video is really scripted. It's all kind of off the top. I just wanted to get these thoughts out, so let's get into it. The character arcs. The two main characters I want to talk about. The main antagonist, Ellie, the mother, and the protagonist, Beth, the aunt, the mother's sister. So it opens up with Ellie, who is terrified of her and her family's future. She's now a single mom, a mom of 3. They're living in an apartment building that they're actually being forced to move out of within the next month or so. So there's so much pressure, there's so much stress. And on top of that, you have 3 kids that you got to take care of. So the horror and the absolute terror of failing her family is plaguing Ellie as soon as the movie begins. Now, moving on to Beth. Beth is a rebel without cause. She's a guitar and instrument technician of some sort. She's out on tour with bands, but she finds out she's pregnant. So the movie begins with her and her fear and her terror of the responsibilities in the future of motherhood. So, and this really plays into their character arcs. So, moving through the movie, obviously, the antagonist, Ellie, she becomes infected as a deadite. And it's like you see all those negative emotions and feelings that have been built up over this time, all the stress and the anger, and she takes it out, and it exudes out of this deadite form and plagues her family. And ultimately, it's the story about the mother failing her family. On the other hand, you have Beth, rebel without a cause, coming into her own, stepping up to the plate, sacrificing her own blood for these kids, becoming a mother in her own right. It's really a beautiful story if you think about it. If you get past the blood and the gore and the cussing and every other vile piece of this movie. But yeah, the story of a mother turning to a monster and a rebel without a cause coming into her own as a mother. It's very cool to see. Now, this movie didn't have Ash Williams. Bruce Campbell was not actually in the movie visually. However, his voice did make an appearance in the movie. And I don't know, I guess I saw someone said there was a theory or confirmation on this, but this is what I instantly thought when I heard this, because I did not know he would be making a small cameo. When the confessor is reading off the Necronomicon from the vinyl, and the words and the spells and the incantations and whatnot, and Kandar is being summoned to the world, you hear Bruce Campbell, you hear Ash Williams' voice in the background. And my theory here, like I said, it may not just be me, my theory here is that this is a displaced Ash Williams. This is an Ash Williams who's probably going back in time or to another world with the Necronomicon, trying to stop the Confessor from reading and bringing the evil into this world. If that was the case, bear with me, if that was the case, is it possible that Ash Williams could be returning to a sequel of Evil Dead Rise? I don't know. Maybe it's far-fetched. Another thing I want to talk about, some more Easter eggs, callbacks, cameos. They brought back the chainsaw, they brought back the boomstick, and I really like how they did it. I really like how they added this environmental factor. They weren't isolated and excluded from society in a cabin in the woods. No, they were in an apartment building in a populated city, like a fuckload of stories up, you know. There's other people there. There's people that could supposedly help. You would think that this would be a safer spot, but instead, they did such a good job of boxing them in and making this a claustrophobic, isolated, and intimate experience inside this apartment building. Now, getting onto the, Easter eggs, callbacks, cameos, whatnot. The boomstick, that came from a neighbor. Great world building there. The chainsaw came from, I want to say, it was in the lumberjack car or some shit like that, like a tree service truck at the bottom of the hotel. So that was pretty cool, getting to see Beth use those two in action. Another thing, this is something that my girlfriend actually brought up when we watched the original Evil Dead 2 the other day. And she looked at the Kandarian dagger. The bone handle with the small skull at the top with the blade running down, the Kandarian dagger. That's, seen in Evil Dead 2, Ash vs. Evil Dead. In the movie Evil Dead Rise, I forgot what the kid's name is. I think it's Cass, the small little girl. She has Staphany. It's the head of a baby doll on a staff. But in the movie, the staff breaks in half, and the mother goes to get this little girl, and the little girl holds her staff up, and the mother rams her face straight through what looks to be like an Easter egg of the Kandarian dagger. So shout out to my girlfriend for bringing that up. That was a pretty slick one. Another one that I love, come get some. I love that they included some of the one-liners. Man, they just did such a good job of including the flavor and the mood and all the callbacks from every single movie that the franchise has had, and even the series, Ash vs. Evil Dead. It's one of those things where you don't need to go see all those movies, and you don't need to have seen the reboot, you don't need to have seen Ash vs. Evil Dead TV series to enjoy and understand this movie. However, if you go back, it's even better, because now you kind of understand the lore and the history of the Necronomicon, the Book of the Dead. And, man, the world building, it just extends so much more. You want to see what's next in this story. Now, this is something I also want to touch on. This is something that also my girlfriend and I were talking about, which is we recently just watched Scream 6. Good movie. It was a lot of fun. But there is a very distinct difference as far as the stakes and the risk in Scream 6 versus Evil Dead Rise. And that is, Evil Dead Rise, nobody was safe. Absolutely nobody was safe. Scream 6, the core four, the main four survivors of, the last few movies, they're fine. They come out alive. Even like some of the legacy characters, Kirby, Gale, they come out on top. They're fine. But in the end of Evil Dead Rise, there's only 2 left. This movie started out with Ellie the mom, the 3 children, the aunt, a whole slew of neighbors. Nobody is safe in the Evil Dead. And this is something that I think more horror movies and more movies in general just need to start doing. It's getting tiring of the risk just being gone from movies and films. I think that was a big thing about Avengers Infinity War that a lot of people appreciated was, some people are going to die, and it was unexpected. We expected a win from the Avengers, but no, half of the team got wiped off the map. For Evil Dead Rise, it was kind of a similar feeling. 2 of the kids freaking die, man. And it's brutal. It's heartbreaking. Even the neighbor child, I'm pretty sure the 2 neighbors are children, an old man. And the kills are ruthless in this movie. Absolutely ruthless. So I don't want to go into that too much. That could be a topic for a video all in itself. But the last thing I just want to touch on is some theories and maybe the future of Evil Dead Rise. So, like I said earlier with Ash Williams being a vocal cameo, is it possible that this is a displaced Ash who's traveled through a rift in time and space into this world with the Necronomicon. That would be awesome. Another theory I have, another way they could include him is the dad that left the family. What if that was Ash Williams? I'm pretty sure there was a picture in the movie of the dad. I can't remember, but what if it was Ash Williams? Or at least Bruce Campbell, the Chin. I don't know. I think it would be kind of, it'd be funny. It'd be cool. But I think it would be kind of unbelievable, I guess. Another way they could continue this series is with Beth and the main protagonist, or the survivor from Evil Dead 2013, I believe it was. I believe some people say they should somehow team up and they should fight the Deadites together. I don't know what that would include, but that would be kind of a fun idea. Another thing that I know they're doing for a fact, it doesn't really have to do with Evil Dead Rise. Bruce Campbell already announced that they are continuing Ash vs. Evil Dead. However, it's going to be an animated format. It's going to be an animated TV show, which for Evil Dead, I think that would honestly fit perfectly for Evil Dead, Ash vs. Evil Dead specifically, with the amount of comedy and horror they have in that, the animated effects. What you can do with animation would just, make that comedy even more top notch. So I'm going to wrap this video up before I overstay my welcome. I want to say thank you guys as always for checking out the video and tuning in, hitting that like button, subscribe, comment down below what you thought of the movie, comment down below what other stuff you want to see from me, including my versus battles, what if scenarios, video reactions, movie reviews, comic explanations, character breakdowns, video game, blah 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 blah, whatever the idea may be, comment down below. Like I said, thank you guys. Find me on TikTok by the same name, FridayRandommedia. And as always, have a great day. Peace out.